Wilson. I am a former Experience Camps camper and a member on the Youth Advisory Board. And today I have the massive privilege of interviewing Alexander23. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You have one of the coolest names I have ever seen or heard. It just
Thank,
perfect, just all the
thank you
way
so
through.
much. Thank you
Thanks
so
for having me.
much.
I was really excited to do this, so I really appreciate you taking the time, and I'm very excited to talk.
Of course, we're massive fans, so this is really exciting for everyone at Experience Camps. So we'll just hop into it. We're going to talk a little bit about your music and a little bit about grief because it's a grief camp. That's what we do. So first, we'll just get into it with who is Alexander23?
Ooh, good, very, very, very good jumping off point. Um, well, I think I'm really just a guy, but I've kind of chosen this path of making music, which was kind of always a passion of mine. But I kind of look at making music through the lens of being a translator, like of sorts, of like just trying to take these intangible emotions and put them into kind of a more tangible form, which for me is songs. So yeah, that's kind of what I consider myself.
Oh, I love that. That was very philosophical in a way. So on a similar note, like what does music mean to you? You said something about like being a translator. So what does that really mean to you?
Yeah, the way I like have kind of come to think about what music is and what I use it for is I think of it as kind of like an emotional toolbox of like things that I can kind of just like pick up as needed. And as a songwriter and producer and artist, like I try to add to that toolbox for both myself and for other people.
Mhm. That's so awesome. So you just released your album Aftershock, which is amazing, by the way. Literally no skips. It's so
Thank you.
good.
Thanks.
And a personal favorite of mine is The Hardest Part. What was your inspiration for The Hardest Part?
Yeah, I mean, something I would assume you're familiar with and a lot of people listening might be familiar with is kind of losing someone. And in this case, losing someone. I mean, it's always too early, but way too early, someone in their 20s, and that's really kind of a strange thing to reconcile. And I was fortunate enough to not have that for most of my growing up life. And in the past few years, I've lost a few friends, and one in particular really hit me really, really hard. And I usually don't like to write about that stuff because um I don't like writing about stuff that doesn't feel like the majority of the grief is mine. And this grief was so like outstandingly large and lived so much beyond just me and what I was dealing with that it felt like wrong to try and like commoditize this grief in some capacity. But I just felt so compelled to write the song that I wrote it. And I thought, you know what, I wrote it. This was cathartic for me. I'm never going to put this out. Like I just can't even begin to consider putting it out. But through sending it to, my family, some close friends and the family of the friend who I lost, they really gave me the courage and the confidence that not only like should I put this out, but I have to put this out because this could help people. And so I'm really happy I put it out. And before I play it at shows, I always say like this song wasn't fun to write. It's not fun to play, but I'm very happy I wrote it and I'm very happy I'm playing it. And that I think really sums up how I feel about the song.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. It's such a beautiful song. It has such like a heavy message that a lot of us at experience camps relate to. And there's a line in it, every time another friend says your name, no, I don't know what to say. And that really struck me because even when you're the one grieving, it can be hard to find like the right words or the right thing to say. So why do you think it's important to talk about grief, even when it's like hard and not always the fun thing to do?
Yeah, I think like in a sense, like keeping it inside multiplies it and talking about it divides it. And I think like it's important to seek and find and feel confident in the people in your life and that you are not burdening them and that you are, just appropriately helping yourself. And you could also be helping them by talking about it as well.
Yeah. So how have you found that music has helped you process your grief, whether yours or other musicians' music as well?
Yeah, that's a good question because I personally have kind of a complicated relationship with music as far as turning to it for that because it's what I do all day, every day. So I think just my dynamic with it is a little strange. I've seen under the hood of it so much, both on like the songwriting side and the production side that I think it's complicated for me to find solace in new music sometimes, but old music always kind of like makes me feel really, really at home and really comfortable. And I think more than anything, like I look at it as like a mood stabilizer, kind of what I was talking about before. Like I just know certain old songs will put me in certain moods and I kind of rely on those songs to do that when I need them.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. You know, you do the music so much that sometimes it can't even come for you. But no, I really like that. So what music do you listen to when you're like feeling grief? You need that comfort. You said old music.
Yeah, I mean, I like it's kind of ironic because so much of my music isn't like happy music, but I like listening to like happy old music like Hall and Oates, or
So
like
good.
Fleetwood Mac when I'm just feeling like that. It just feels like home, and it just feels like kind of I'm connecting to, you know, a past version of me that didn't feel this way, and it reminds me that that feeling is it's important to recognize and, you know, stare in the face and understand, but it's also fleeting and not forever.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Off record, what's your favorite Fleetwood Mac song? Just curious.
Um, that's, I mean, like it's tempting. Like I feel like everyone to the, like when they're asked this question always is tempted to just like think of like the most random like album cut one they
Yeah,
can, but like
gotta get the deep cut, show you're
Dreams, the
real.
chain. Like I don't know. Like yeah, I don't feel like I'm just running the hits. I'm doing the
Yeah,
chain. I'm doing dreams. I'm doing all the good ones. You know.
totally valid. I'm there with you. Okay, so back to the questions. What advice would you give to kids who are currently grieving the death of someone close to them?
I think the biggest thing is just like allowing yourself the space both physically and emotionally to like feel those feelings and understanding that like the way you feel is valid no matter what it is. Like if it is like guilt, it is just pure sadness, whatever it is, like it is valid, and you need to allow yourself the space to work through those feelings. And then I think I was touching on it before, but I think like the people you have in your life that you love and love you, like they're there for a reason. Like it's not only for the good times, and you're not burdening them by requiring their help. You know, that's what they're there for. So don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so we are a grief camp at Experience Camps, but we're also a fun summer camp. So if you happen to be a counselor at one of our camps, what would be your dream camp activity to like teach or lead besides music?
Mm. Incredible question. Would certainly 1,000,000% be basketball. I
Really?
can't promise that I wouldn't get too competitive, but I think that's okay. I think that's sometimes how you got to learn. You know,
Yeah,
it's not
sometimes you have to learn by just
just
slamming on the
throw right into it.
kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know it, and they'll be better for it in the end.
Yeah, they got to learn. They've got to learn.
But
It's
yeah, no,
real.
I think that that would be fun. I grew up playing basketball my whole life, and I still play like a few times a week. So
Yeah, that's
I would
awesome.
love it's honestly helped me a lot, especially as I was talking about like my relationship to music has changed so much, and like kind of the one constant in my life has been basketball. And I think like for other people who are like dealing with any kind of emotional turbulence, like turning to those things that just get you into flow state and feel comfortable is really important.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just things that bring you back to home. So, those were all of our questions. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and talk to all of us.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Really appreciate it.
I first of all, I really appreciate the thoughtful questions. Like those are very, very thoughtful questions, and they were fun to think about and answer. And also it's funny, like before I kind of started peripherally working with experience camps, like I didn't really have any knowledge of it. And then like from the first time I posted it, like the amount of people that reached out and had such an insanely strong like connection to experience camps was so beautiful. So I'm so honored to be involved in any capacity, and hopefully I can make an appearance, you know, physically next summer.